To Wednesday at Kiwanis. Thank you all for being here today. Steve McGraw, wasn't Kevin Matheson? Yeah. Let's give him a round of applause.
I've already given John Montgomery fair warning. I'm operating on full coffee caffeine today. Usually I drink half and half. We ran out of decaf. You're going to get some live action today. All right. Ronnie and Glenn Pierce is having knee replacement surgery. So we're going to pass a card around for him. John's got that. And I'm sure he would welcome any calls or emails from you all. And I also want to congratulate everyone on a very successful trash cleanup on Lick Run Greenway last weekend. Thank you very much. I missed that one, but it's always kind of interesting. You never know quite what you're going to find over there. Shopping carts, etc. For those of you who were at the cleanup, would you give us a hand raise and let us know? Great job, and many thanks to Lee Osborne for coordinating that for us. Okay. All right, we're going to start with a call for introspection and Pledge of Allegiance with Harry Zula, and then Harry's also going to stay up and introduce our guests for us.
Today I have a summer blessing for Kiwanians. Kiwanis live a hopeful life of relaxation, joy, love, peace, and safety. May we be generous and considerate, not thinking only about ourselves, but helping others enjoy the blessings of the summertime.
Somebody needs a shave.
Our steps and strengthen our hearts during these months of summertime and vacation days.
I agree, Mike.
It's refreshing. And constantly striving to make a difference in our community as we enjoy the of summertime. Join me in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with truth and justice for all. I go right into it, huh?
Yeah, thanks, Harry.
To welcome the guest today. Again, my name is Harry Zuloff. I'm a graduate of. If the guests would please stand up, please, and their host when I call the name. First, I have Teresa Ray, who is a guest of Betsy Bohannon. Remain standing, please, so we can warmly welcome you. This is the and his host is Fred Jeter. His guest is West Beach. George Harrington. And his host is Bert Boy. And Sean Cochran, hosted by David Hart. So I'd like to welcome all to this luncheon and hope you come again.
Thank you very much, Harry. Next up, we're going to have Jeff Vick and Ken Briggs talk about our Fill the Chairs membership initiative.
Thank you, President Jean. And we really appreciate the membership committee and the club in general really appreciates your efforts. I mean, today we have 5 guests. That's terrific. Thank you very much. Remember, we like to say, you bring the guest, we'll do the rest. And we're trying to take that to heart and make sure that our guests see us at our best and at our most fun and our most service oriented. So thank you for that. So today, the status on the chair filling, we still are, we've had quite a few people commit to bringing in guests, and when they fill them, we'll fill the chairs with those names. But we also, we'll have some nice announcements to make over the next couple of weeks about new members that will fill the chairs that we require from our strategic plan.
You understand that, Rupert?
If you would really like to have your name up on one of these chairs and commit to bringing a guest, please let me know and we'll add you going forward. And the reason for this is not to
Can we
embarrass
sing merry-go-round?
simply for the encouragement of everybody. Now, you're all doing great bringing in guests. Keep doing it, please. Try to ask somebody every day that you have a chance. Just throw
Hey,
that
John, you ought to mute yourself. It's very weird.
idea out there.
I mean, you and I are much
What we can make.
louder than they are, and then sometimes you're louder than
There's
we are.
nobody else talking. It's you
As he's
and
waiting for me back there,
Mike.
I want to highlight the
I think we ought to mute ourselves, John.
guests and new members has for our club.
Well, all right, I'll take your word
It's
for it.
amazing when our members who are sponsors bring in new guests, what they can achieve, the multiplier effect over generations of guests. And Ken's going to give you some of that information plus some bonus material.
John,
Thank you. Oh, well, excuse too loud, huh? Thank you, Jeff. And I am pleased to talk about, I've had some luck in recruiting. Right now, I have credit for having sponsored 7 members of our club, and I'm in a probably second, third, fourth place. I know Rupert Cutler is our champion recruiter with the most members sponsored. Steve McGraw, Vern Danielson, Sherry Hartman, John Montgomery, Andy Stone, and Don Wilson, I believe, have all sponsored 4 or more members. But it's amazing how the few of us seem to sponsor a lot of members, and then some haven't sponsored so many. But we all have different skills. I'm going to talk about the 7 members that I've sponsored. I like to call them the Magnificent 7. And that sounds like a brag. So I got $100 for the foundation here in case I brag too much. Oh, I'll go past $100 here shortly. But anyway, the 7 that I have sponsored are Tara Masiniak, Guy Bird, David Farnham, Bob Rutherford, Reeve Kessler, Don Witt, and Jeff Bick. And most of you know the contributions of these members. Several have served on our board of directors. One is our vice president-elect. One is a past president. One is a past Division 15 lieutenant governor and is president-elect of our Capital District Foundation. When there's trash to be picked up, they are there. And my phone is ringing and my hearing aids. When volunteers are needed for KPAD, they are there. And this year, those 7 sold close to $4,000 in tickets. That's well above $500 for each of them. 5 of the 7 were recently retired men that I have met through my church, on the golf course, at the gym, or in our Davidson College alumni group. The two that weren't were Tara Masiniak of Center in the Square. She came here with her boss, Jim Sears, to be recognized for helping us with the Salvation Army bell ring. And Dr. Sears said, if you'll sponsor her, I'll pay her dues. Now, sometimes the fish just jump in your boat. As you know, Tara is now the president and executive director of Center in the Square. Unfortunately, she has a meeting on Wednesday and can't be with us. And my newest member, I want to talk about my newest member, Jeff Vick. I met Jeff about a year ago at a Defending Democracy meeting. I learned he had just returned to Roanoke after retiring from the State Department. He was anxious to get involved in the community. So I gave Jeff a free lunch card. You'll find those cards in your table. Can you all grab one and take a look at it? I think these cards are just a marvelous tool, and thank you to Membership Chair Harry Zuloff and his committee for designing these cards. But they are just terrific. First of all, you can't just put them in your wallet blank. You got to fill them out. You got to load them up. You got to have your name on there and your phone number. I was at a United Way meeting last Thursday evening. I was sitting next to a man about 55, 60 years old. He's just moved back to Roanoke from Atlanta to help take care of his father. I gave him a card. He sent me a text a minute ago. He said, I can't make it today, but I want to be there for a Kiwanis meeting very soon. So anyway, have your cards ready. They are a great tool. You don't know where that next prospective member is coming from, but be ready to invite someone to our club. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you very much, Ken. Just real briefly, Ken's purpose up here is to give you best practices on how to make this happen. Ken will invite anybody that he runs into that he thinks is worthy, and that's great. Ken's an extrovert, and that's comfortable for him. But we all have different abilities. If it's something you need to do one-on-one, do it one-on-one. If you are at a social somewhere and you're comfortable talking to somebody about what we do, just invite them and see what happens. I do it shamelessly, and I still haven't scored one yet, but I mean, my wife is my guest of record, so she took pity on me. But we can all get one guest. If we could just do that this summer, we will net the members that we need to not only keep our standing as a very active club, but to also grow and do this development that Ken was referring to. Because each of us, we get one guest, we get one member. Those people add to that list, and before you know it, we will fill the room and increase our capacity. So thank you very much. I'm going to pass the mic back to President Gina.
Thank you so much, Jeff and Ken. That was very motivational. And I wanted to just update you all. We had our board meeting this past Monday, and we actually brought in 2 new members. The board voted in 2 new members. One is not here today. Scott Smith will be joining us at a future date, but I would like for Melissa Woodson to stand. She's not prepared, but I'm going to put her on the spot. She just joined, and we are very excited to have 2 new members. All right, Don Witt, you want to come up and talk about the Ducky Derby?
I'm Don Witt, and I'm here to peddle Ducky Derby raffle tickets. The proceeds of the raffle tickets go to 11 neonatal hospitals, of which Roanoke Carilion is one of them. The district puts out something like $44,000 a year to these hospitals. So I am encouraging you to donate. Now, the only way you can donate is either online or just give me the money and I'll take care of it, But anyway, I will be out in the lobby for all.
They're not very expensive. How much are they, Don? How much are tickets? $5 each. Okay. You can always win them every year. Okay. I have a few announcements for us. So our membership meeting today in this space at 1:35 after our meeting. We have a nominee for our board opening, Sherry Hartman. I'll ask you to come up and talk about that for us. Thank you.
To chair the nominating committee this year for our club. Very exciting to recruit our upcoming leadership. We had one jump ship and left our club to join the Botetourt Club. And so we were called together again as a committee to fill August 11th and have then another 2 years on the board. And I'm very our nominee this week. And then as a club, we will vote on that person to become the newest board member on July 30th. So this nomination is, if you would stand, Chris Rouse.
Thank you, Sherry. And I would just point out that our loss is by a club member for them. I did a brief recognition earlier for the big lick run cleanup, but Lee is going to come up and say a couple words as well.
All right. Thank you, President Jean. Lee Osborne, and really about our cleanup that occurred this past Saturday. I made an announcement last week and a couple of weeks ago, and if I seemed a little unsure because I've never led a cleanup before, I want to tell you that it's a piece of cake. There are the people who've shown up and done these cleanups many times, and so if I can find that 20th person, it's one of you. But by my list, in my count, we had 19 people out for the day. I want to recognize the individuals who did take the time on a Saturday morning to come out, walk around and pick up trash. You'd be dirty. When we walked along the Greenway, it does not look like there's trash. But we go out there and find, and we filled, I think, 20 bags, like Gordy Plaster said. We also found some things that were trash or junk that were, identified those and put them out of the way. But anyway, I want to thank these individuals for showing up on Saturday. John Pendleton, Courtney Plaster, and if you're online, I'm not sure how you identify yourself, but anyway, Pegram Johnson, Reef Kessler, Cherry Bestpetch, who was a former here, Bert Boyd. Bert brought his grandson, who I think is Ryan Boyd, and I'm assuming, two grandsons. Guy Bird, Don Witt, Sherry Hartman, Joe Limmer, Steve English, Judy Clark. And in addition, we had one of our, Mike Lovett had signed up some of our Action Club members, and we had one of them show up, Jeffrey Swigert. And so we had a good turnout. We were able to, thank you all. Let's do a round of applause, sorry. We were able to divide and conquer. We had one group that drove and then went up to Valley View and back. We had a group that started in Washington Park and went up to 10th Street and back. And then we had a group that went from Washington Park down to downtown to the tower. We're back. So very good turnout. Nice day. No rain. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. 23rd Interclub. Please participate if you can. Bring a guest if you can as well. We are having it at Center in the Square. All the details are on the sheet. It's going to be a Tot Club and from the Salem Club and the Danville Club. So we're very excited. All right. And then Betsy and Rachel, you all can come up after Lois, okay?
Thank you, Jean. Just to tell you real quickly, I have a very good nurse with Carillion, and she introduced me to a program called Cuts with Cops, and that means haircuts. It started as a way to give back, has morphed into this really big program where they not only do haircuts, but they have tennis shoes. We stuff backpacks. I know that Betsy and but this is through Roanoke County. And so their police department has come up with this program where we're really just trying to get these kids ready. I asked and very generously was awarded some support, some opportunities for some sweat equity as well. So if you all are available on August 1st from 1:30 to 4:30 at Tanglewood, the Children's Carillion place, on August 4th and 5th, we're 12 or 1 to 4. And that's where we'll get the backpacks all ready for the event. And then the event is actually on August 9th down at Tanglewood at the Children's Carillion, and get all of these wonderful things. So they need some crowd control if anybody wants to be in the middle of that chaos with us. But I have more details. If we get these kids ready for school, I'd be happy to give you more details. So thank you.
Thanks, Lois. Sorry. Betsy and Rachel, come on up.
Make. Last week, I had these forms. It was a plain white paper on your vacation, and we've just been in the middle of the house since we've come home. And apparently, I lost the sheets I had last week. Does this sign up again for the backpacks? I'd appreciate it. And wait until you listen to Rachel, students, and these children, these kindergartners. Be generous, be kind. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. So the first, I know, Betsy's so brilliant that she found a way, I think, through Kiwanis. And so we were able to buy them in bulk. We have extras because I believe we have 54 kindergartners that are graduating from our program. But on this day, we actually give away around 700 backpacks. So those. But this event just isn't about a backpack. Our families actually pretty far from rural areas to get a haircut, to get shoes, physical. We're doing that this year in partnership with Bradley Free Clinic. So it's a really big deal. We're 25 organizations present. We have the street shut down the organization. You know, bring the folks you work with. We have daycares who come, and this is a field training. The Kiwanis enough for making it possible. The backpacks also that the Kiwanis assemble as we deliver to our family's home, and it's the best feeling to see the child put it on for the first time. So thank you, brilliant, because she is. I didn't want to cheat on that.
Thank you, Rachel. I think it's so important to make sure that all the supplies can be a good way for us to do that. Next up, we're going to have brag bucks. I know David Hartman has a brag bucks are an opportunity to give a shout out to something personal, something professional, something else that you volunteer with, and the money goes into our foundation and becomes part of our service budget.
So best pitch here, Ollie Howard back in 2013 when he was about to graduate from William Fleming High School, and to a scholarship we gave him from this club 12 years ago. He's completed this, so my first brag is on Ollie. Thanks for coming today. Now, one of my jobs this year is to keep track of who volunteers, about who shows up for the fun events like going to Mill Mountain Theater, visiting winery, and that sort of thing, of who actually serves on committees. So please raise your hand right now. Put your hand up now if you've volunteered for a service project this year since October 1. And if you've attended one of the fun events, put your hand up. 1% of our members who have either served on a committee, volunteered for a service project, or attended a fun event. And many of them have done all three. If you joined since October 1 and you're now on a committee, please raise your hand. Anybody new that has joined a committee? Okay. I thought you were. I was looking up at there. Well, that makes this even a better brag because, and I'm going to sneak in a brag on our new member, Melissa Woodson, a new member on the board, is add that name to the list. And Melissa's the first name I could add and already give her credit, had her membership application approved. So 71% is what we have right now. Our goal is 75%. So we only need 4 more members of this club to join a committee, volunteer for a service project if you haven't already done. You join a committee, so we only need 3. Come on, 3. And you can do that. Who? James, you didn't raise your hand. Okay. Anyway, we need 2 more. All you have to do is show up for the fun event that Gene just freshmen at the bar included in the admission price. If that's not enough incentive to get you to a fun event, I don't know what would be.
Hello, everybody. I'm David Hartman. I'm the vice president this year in charge of the and I wanted to start with an apology. President Gene reminded me I called my furry friend Jet. I wanted to just comment. We have a guest, Sean Cochran. He's a professor at Roanoke College. He will be speaking September 17th. If he is here, he's interested in doing research on virtual reality, and he would like people to volunteer. This is virtual. If you're interested in doing participating in this research, there's be a flyer on your table. Please reach out to him. Thanks.
Thank you all for having me. I am Sean Cochran, professor in Health and Exercise Science Department at Roanoke College. And in the spirit of brag bucks, prestigious award of a student scholar. And because we work together, he has to do a research project. And that's what I'm here, hopefully, to recruit for. We're interested in older adults. It's 2 quick tests. They're very minimal. You'll be there for 30 tests involved as we're interested in older adults, physical activity, and upper limb coordination. And so the tests up for 2 minutes at your own self-selected pace. We assess your fitness that way. And then we can tell you your results. Premier students and myself, I'm here. You're welcome to come talk to me. And there's also a floor. If you're interested and you don't fit that inclusion-exclusion criteria, please still come talk to me. We have other stuff to be able to participate in. Thank you, guys.
Hello, I'm Steve English, first-time bragger. I in the spirit of when I hit the wedding anniversary next week, so I made a contribution to the foundation. This is my first brag. I'm brag on Julie for patience for putting up with me for all those years. My next one is I'll brag on all 3 of my kids at the same time. I got 3 sons. All 3 are Eagle Scouts. So that's my second brag. Upcoming senior at Franklin County High School went through the process to qualify in wrestling this summer. He is now on Team Virginia and is currently in Fargo, North Dakota, representing Team Virginia in the Junior Nationals. Competition there is really tough, but we're super proud he made it there. So thank you all.
That's awesome. Thank you all to introduce Lois James, who will be introducing today's speaker.
Thank you, Jean. Okay, John Hall is the executive director, more than 17 years serving the Roanoke region in various economic development roles, a graduate of Roanoke College Institute and the Roanoke College Management Institute. Hall also has earned the certificate of the Certified Economic Research Professional Designate Research. Say that 3 times. While managing the Roanoke Regional Partnerships, research assisted in the creation of more than 6,000 jobs and the attraction of more than $1 billion in investment.
Thank you, Lois, and thank you all for the opportunity here to join this afternoon. So, partnership, and that's the Regional Economic Development Organization here, that covers the larger Roanoke region. I wanted to start with some quick background on the organization. I think it's a step we often skip, and this is useful information. So the partnership has been in place since 1983. It's a 42-year-old organization. And from its beginning, it was designed as a public and private partnership. That means the public sector contributes and the private sector invests as well. In fact, 50% public and 50% private. Okay. I have a $1.6 million budget. We could actually, it's sort of bonus value because it's an affiliated organization with us, same staff and same board. We have 10 employees, a 30 at all, and a 17-member executive committee. Okay. Sort of alluded to this, but the partnership is a larger umbrella with top staff. We have the Roanoke Regional Partnership, a 501c6 that represents, okay, including the largest employers. Roanoke Outside Foundation, a lot of folks are actually more Go Fest and Blue Ridge Marathon and others. All of those events are intended really specific, strategic our region and our authentic outdoor brand. Okay, and really the goal there is to contribute to is the newest wing of the partnership, and those are our talent attraction strategies. On the younger scale who are attending our quarterly social events. And really, they're open to everyone. Folks there that you don't necessarily see at the typical chamber mixer, okay, right? And it's important that we embrace those folks and bring them into the community or our professional sector. Alluded to this, 8 governments, cities of Covington, Roanoke, and Salem, counties of Allegheny, Botetourt, Franklin, and Roanoke, and the town of Benton, all with one goal, which is growing our economy, okay? Growing economy, growing the opportunity, growing jobs and investment. And we do operate with 4 strategic priorities. These were developed, this strategic plan was developed by our leadership in conjunction, okay? Economic growth, innovation. You think of that, I think when you think of the partnership, jobs and investment, the other for us to be successful with number 1. Okay, so we have excellence in marketing and project management, economic growth and innovation. Real estate is our product, right? In many ways, if we're attracting businesses, be successful. Okay, talent attraction, workforce development. Again, that's a topic du jour. We found that expanding, we can help overcome the talent problem with the labor shortage, right? Which is a national is to address their challenges, connect them with resources. And then placemaking lured out, okay, about what makes Roanoke unique, what makes it a great place to live, what makes a fine point on that. That is new locations of business, but it's also expansions. We want to help business here expand. $1 of new economic activity to the region. And look, we're a regional organization. So the key thing, it's not that you don't pay any attention to your municipal boundary, okay, because you certainly see the tax bill when it comes, right? But you're going to shop in other localities. You might live in one locality, work in another. A new location or expanding business is going to procure services and goods from businesses throughout the greater area. Valley too, okay? This is economic impact is regional, right? Because that's just how things work, folks, right? New economic sector. We're going to get into Google in a minute. We have a brand new economic sector in the region now that is coming. We have impacts to suppliers and contractors. Businesses come and evaluate, or they help set up shop. That leads to hotel stays and more folks flying in, which benefits the airport. You grow retail here is not just by bringing in more retail, it's by increasing wealth and income, okay? Last year, we had a record number of new inquiries, okay? So, and really more than double the activities and certainly from pre-pandemic times. I mean, vastly more activity, vastly more interest. Okay, good. Last year, I alluded to the activity, it was 390 jobs created just last year alone, $162 million in new capital investment. Mack Trucks expansion, right? A new location in 2020 expanding already. Amazon, last mile in the city of Roanoke. Tiny car pack, but really huge in terms of the philosophic, potential here, because that's the first manufacturership was key in assisting them, because we helped link them up with a source of, but this building and this particular landlord didn't feel comfortable leasing to a pre-revenue startup, right? But they needed 10,000 square feet to establish a clean room for manufacturing the product. If the Roanoke Valley Development Corporation and Greater Roanoke Valley Development Foundation groups, which I serve on the board thereof, we would have lost this Ridge Road, right, where their clean rooms are down. Okay, so this was a huge win. So we could demonstrate the market's ability to grow from the fine research being done on Jefferson Street. Okay, Shrewd Outdoors, third generation machine shop that established an archery product. Goodwill, Melrose Plaza expansion, and then Westport Axle Universal, they manufacture an axle product for Volvo. Okay, those are the success. We have some additional wins. Munters, HVAC product manufacturer. They make data, have an existing facility there now, and they've expanded onto an adjacent lot with a second building. And they just broke ground on an expansion of 270 jobs and $30 million capital investment. Integer, a group in Salem that manufactures cardiac implants. They actually use some very, very valuable metals in the process. It's fascinating. High in the city of Salem, we were pleased to help support them and link them up with resources, 83 jobs and $55 million new investment. Nevenesis, this expansion is specific to the city of Salem, 5 jobs and $5 million. But this actually represents one of 3 biotech-related projects that the partnership has assisted with in the last 12 months. Okay, when you include Planet Cargo, Nevenesis. And in Qualicam, small group, $9 million, networking fluids and lubricants, right? And then more recently, must be on the edge of the range. Need a booster. Of course, the announcement of the new location of April, 312-acre data center campus, Botetourt Center, Greenfield, Virginia, in Western Virginia, a new technology operation. And what a brand name. Okay, what a brand name to have to welcome to the Roanoke. Measure our progress. We raise money from the private sector, all sort of, and we do strategic 27-year plan. We did set some goals, and our goals were to attract 350,000 net new jobs. Okay, these are direct, not indirect. We measure indirect too. We're the region, the partnership, the local governments, all of us working together with our utility partners, and really there's a cast of hundreds that go into this. Okay, and lucky goes way beyond our organization. the results have been $530 million of new capital investment. We've set a goal, and we're not done. These numbers do not include Google, okay, because no. And then 2,600 of the 3,000 jobs already, with a couple saying we will exceed that goal as well by 2027, okay. And all told, there's about a, that's that middle, right? What we've done as an organization during my tenure, but we also measure economic impact. And so in the last 3 years, we've really generated, just in 3 years, about $1 billion of new economic activity, which is like sales and economic activity. Okay, that's really based on the sales of businesses, the spending away, not just the investment. And when we look at the pipeline, we have a lot of large opportunities in the pipeline. We have to continue growing. We have over $2 billion of late stage opportunities, 1,000 jobs. It is really enhanced. It's greater than we've ever seen. And that's influenced, it's influences more life sciences. In the last 5 years, we had the Wells Fargo project, which was the largest state in quite some number of years. It was the largest project in Virginia that year and the largest office project in Western Virginia, since that's really difficult to achieve in the post-pandemic environment. Okay, so we have growing and what we're seeing in the pipeline as well. Used to be almost exclusively manufactured. Those two. Yep, there we go. And then we're developing product. I talked about real estate. We have some multi-jurisdictional product. We're proud to support Allegheny County and attracting some state investment and new real estate product there. So there's a pad to the north and about $4 million of new state money there last year. So, and it is actually marketable. Believe it or not, between 2019 and 2023, half of manufacturing growth on a net base, half of that happened in the Roanoke region. Some of Virginia is losing manufacturing jobs. We are creating manufacturing jobs here. It's growing quickly, and we're leading the state. When it comes to placemaking, proud to report $5.4 million of addition earlier. I count that separately. Visitation, tourism, folks coming into the market, experiencing the market, learning about Roanoke. These are events that not only enhance quality of life for residents, but again, bringing in outside. And that's what we're doing. We're raising the exposure of this market. But not only are we telling a story about the outdoors, we're building product to make the outdoors better. So, when you get people together in the outdoors, sometimes there's beverage that's consumed. Okay, event entries and beverage sales, into new trail heads and water put in. Started this in 2020. Over the lifetime of the project, Outside Project, the partnership, Roanoke Outside Foundation, has invested $175,000 in 33 projects. Doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it's made a big impact, okay, on the outdoors. And we are a welcoming region. We are growing. Our civilian labor force is at record levels. Our employment is up. We are importing talent, and the numbers show it. So Moody's economy shows that since folks finding jobs and moving in here, 3 times the levels it was in that pandemic year, and you would think that pandemic year years before. So we're seeing. That's a good sign, right, to grow our population. And I was tasked, I'm running a little low on time, but I was tasked to be the top 2025 trends in economic development are in artificial intelligence, energy, right? Foreign direct investment and tariffs, those kind of go hand in hand, but those factors are really affecting. It's going to really focus on the first two, artificial intelligence and energy. But if you have questions about tariffs, many of you are using artificial intelligence, whether you know it or not, okay? If you use Google Maps, Google Spotify. Do you like Spotify? I use a Spotify DJ, and that's artificial intelligence, okay? He talks to me every day in the car, right? Welcome. Hey, John, what's up? And so we are contributing to demand, right, for artificial intelligence. And the next wave of this is going to be generative AI, right? If you've used ChatGPT to write an email, because the adoption rate is really soaring, okay? And really, so it's growing. And that leads to a couple issues. So artificial intelligence and energy are actually, you've seen the Google announcement, but the top tech companies are looking for a section of infrastructure, acreage, and to some extent labor, right, and market size all intersect, right? Those elements all have to be there. When a business is looking for a solution, right, it ends up being economic development is an elimination to support that company. The company will consider, right, that community, right, but it together. This is a map that shows existing data center capacity and what's planned. Is kind of difficult right now on this map because this was made about a year before Google announcement and so forth. What's planned is really quite steady. It represents an opportunity for Roanoke to be relevant in the technology sector and the data center sector, each head there for the region. And this one also a little difficult to read. These spikes represent data center capacity and 4 times the size of computing capacity than about any other North American market. And now with Google, the Roanoke region could also be a destination for further investment. Our capacity has now become the leading site selection factor of 2025. That's really unusual, right? Rates has always been high. Access to talent, those would have been in the top 3 before. And so the sector is evaluating markets that it never has before to compete. And so that has taken a large team to pull together. But again, I didn't want to take up, if you're interested in European FDI and tariffs and that kind of thing, hey, I'm always available. Look me up, send me an email, or we have time for questions now. Is that correct? Is that right? Hey. I'm sorry. Well, it looks like it's in the Middle Country League, but it's actually Virginia. Okay, so that's Northern Virginia. That was Northern Virginia. Okay, so what you see there also on that map there was a spike in Atlanta and a spike in Ohio, all of which were yes, the big spike is Northern Virginia. Yeah, that's a Goldman Sachs piece of data. I didn't draw the map; I just stole it. The contrast is a little off here on the equipment, but it's all good. Yeah. I don't speak to those type of factors. I'm sorry, I just can't. Long as they're not related in any way, shape, or form. Thank you. Anything else? Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I thought that was an excellent talk. Thank you very much, John. And for those of you who today's Roanoke Rambler about the Google Data Center, and our own Mike McAvoy was interviewed in that article as well. John has very graciously agreed to return his honorarium to our foundation, and we thank him for that. All right, so don't forget directly following here at lunchtime, but I hope to see you at Center in the Square in the evening for our interclan to decide. So get after it. All right. Thank you. And Don's going to be out. We're adjourned.